Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, 21.3 finally released. I know we've been waiting on that one. We were expecting it around Christmas, but here it is. It's finally released, so take a look at what's new here. The big update here is going to be Cinnamon 6.0. It does have the Wayland support. And it looks like now when you've downloaded an ISO, you can right click on that and verify it directly from Linux Mint. And there's other different actions you can take. Okay, and here's the Wayland update. Other improvements, 75% scaling, so that's the fractional scaling. Here's different gestures that they've added. And Warpinator, I don't really use that. I use the LocalSend app. Artwork improvements, looks like there's some new wallpapers. We'll check those out. And it's still based on the kernel 5.15. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back to the Linux Mint website, go to download, and we'll go with the Cinnamon. And then you scroll down, find the mirror that works best for you. I've already downloaded the ISO, so I'm not going to do it again. And then once that's finished, go ahead and go get Etcher, and that's etcher.balena.io. Go to download. And we want the 64-bit version. Okay, we'll open that. So just right click on Etcher, go to Properties, Permissions, and allow the program to execute. And then just double click. And then what you'll do is you'll select your Linux Mint 21.3 ISO, your USB stick, and then when you click flash, it'll prompt you for your password. Go ahead and type that in, let that flash. Leave the USB stick in your machine, and you can press F11 or F12 on the keyboard to bring up your boot menu. And go ahead and select the Linux Mint ISO from there. Let that boot up, and that's where I'll rejoin you. Alright, and this is what the boot menu will look like. And we want Start Linux Mint, so we'll press enter there. And we'll let that boot up. All right, we'll go ahead and install. All right, select your language, English, continue. Keyboard, English, English, continue. All right, we'll do the multimedia codecs, continue. Erase the disk, continue, or install now, continue. Select your location, continue, and put in a name. Put in a super secret password, continue. Okay, and I'll speed this portion of the video up. it looks like the install finished, so I'm going to go ahead and restart here, and I will see you on the first login. And the main thing on the 21.3 is if you click on your Cinnamon, you now have support for Wayland. It is experimental, but that is part of the 21.3 release. But since I've got an NVIDIA card, I'll just use X11. All right, and we're greeted with the welcome screen. We see Linux Mint 21.3. Let's go. Let's go with launch on the desktop colors. I'll switch it to dark and green. Actually, I'll go blue. I'm going to put my wallpaper on here in a second. All right, and the first thing we'll do is we'll launch Updater. You want to switch? No. Apply the update. Put in your password. All right, and we do have a few updates here. So I'll go ahead and get those updated, and then I will meet you back after a restart. All right, let's do a neo fetch. And we can see we're running Linux Mint 21.3, kernel 5.15. We've got 2,297 Debian packages, Cinnamon 6.0.4, and I'm not sitting idle, but the memory is 2.1 gigabytes. I've got the file manager Nemo open, this terminal, OBS, and then my note-taking software. All right, let's go grab Inkscape and GIMP. Just click on the super and then go to Software Manager. And GIMP is basically our Adobe Photoshop. We're going to grab the system package because it's much smaller. You can see it's 20 megs. I can type in my password, right? All right, so we'll download that real quick. And this is basically the program that you'd use to modify images. And then we've got Inkscape, which is the same thing, but it's vector-based, so SVG files. Inkscape, when you zoom in on vector SVG files, you don't lose the clarity. That's typically what you would make a logo with, is Inkscape. All right, so we've got both of those. And it's that simple. You just go to the software store and search up the software you need. All right, we'll take a look at the system tray. In the far right corner, we've got Show the Desktop. So if we bring open some windows here, and we click on the Show Desktop button, everything goes away. Click it again, and it snaps back into place. And we've got our clock. We click on that. We've got our events, date and time settings, and then the calendar on the right-hand side. Over from there, we've got our battery, which it picks up my mouse that's wireless. And then the volume, network, any external drives you may have connected, your system updates, and then I've got OBS open, obviously, recording this video. So it's just a system tray. Anything that has a system tray icon would show up down here, like Steam or Discord. And then you've got your super button, which has got your menu of applications. Take a quick look at system monitor. Our CPU is pretty steady. Like I said, I've got several applications open making the video, but the memory is 2.6 gigs, and that's with Nemo open, OBS, Obsidian, which is my note-taking software, and then the system monitor. All right, we'll take a look at wallpaper. So just right-click your background, change desktop background, and it's Virginia is the release name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this over to another screen, and we'll just click through all the desktop wallpapers together. Feel free to pause the video if you see one that you like. And that was all of them. New wallpapers for 21.3. I'll go ahead and switch it back. Alright, let's take a look at the Firefox version that's installed. I do believe it's 121. That updated when we first logged in and did our updates. And that is the Debian package specific for Linux Mint. Okay, next I'll show you how to remove LibreOffice if you don't want it. So we'll just do a sudo apt remove purge LibreOffice star. Say yes to that. And then I'll just up arrow, and we want sudo apt again, but this time we just want to do sudo apt clean. And then a sudo apt auto remove. Okay. And then if we go into our menu here, go to Office, we do see the LibreOffice packages have been removed. And for OBS, that's going to be in the software manager. So just open software manager. You do have options though. If you type in OBS, there's the FlatHub version, the Flatpak, or there's the system. And obviously I've already got the system installed. That's how I'm making the video. But yeah, that's how you get it. You could either get the Flatpak or the Debian installation. Alright, and to get VMware Workstation Player to create VMs, we just go to vmware.com, products, workstation-player, and I'll leave this in the description. Click on download for free. And it's player 17.5. We'll go to downloads. And we want the for Linux 64-bit. And you see it's got a 1. I've already got it downloaded. So go ahead and download that, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, and if we pull up our downloads and we do a right click within the folder, you can see open terminal. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then in the terminal, we want to type, well actually before we do that, let's right click on VMware Player and go to Properties and make sure the permission to allow execution is enabled. That's important. And we want to do a sudo space /VM, then press tab. And since we're in the same folder already, it'll go ahead and populate the name for us, and just press enter. Put in your root password. Okay, and that's finished. So now we'll just type in VM Player, press enter. That's going to bring up the rest of this installation process. Go and accept the terms. Do you want to check for updates? Sure. Do you want to participate in the program? No. Use VMware for free non-commercial use. Finish. If you had a key, that's where you'd type it in. Alright, so we are ready to create virtual machines at this point. So VMware Player is now installed. And to get LocalSend, it's just localsend.org. You can go there, go to download, and then I click on the Debian package since we're in Linux Mint, and just install it there from the software store. So when you download that, let me pull up my downloads real quick. Once you've got it downloaded, just double click, and that's going to bring up a minimal software center. You just click on install package, and it's done. Alright, and to get DaVinci Resolve working correctly, we've got to go out and get a package that basically creates, it takes the default DaVinci Resolve .run file. So let me open up my downloads. It takes the .run file and creates a deb package out of it. And here's the script that you got to run. This does take quite a bit of time. I think it took me 3 hours to convert run to a deb package. Once it's finished, it's 2.7 gigabytes. The deb package is 2.7 gigabytes. But I will leave this site in the description. But you basically download this script, run it. It needs to be in the same folder as the run file. When you run that, it generates the deb file for you. But yeah, I'll leave this in the description. It runs you through how to get the deb package created. Okay, so we'll go ahead and install the Debian package. Just double click it. We'll go with install, type in your password. So we'll just click on super, and under sound and video, there's DaVinci Resolve. So we'll click on it. In your first run, you'll get this black screen. Just come down to the taskbar, right click on it and close. And then we'll have to force it closed, but then you'll see the DaVinci splash screen after that. Yeah, so at the bottom, here's our force quit. Okay, and then there's DaVinci's splash screen. And the first run, it does take a while. So I do a new project and we go to test, create. We'll go into DaVinci Resolve, preferences. Okay, and under memory and GPU, it does detect the 3050. So that's perfect. All right, so we can cancel out of that. So now we need to create a clip and I can show you the next issue that we've got to tackle. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, this is a test clip on the Linux Mint 21.3 video. All right, I've created this short little test clip of the background and I'm just basically moving around with my cursor, but it's just a test clip so I can show you. So if we go into bring up DaVinci Resolve again, we go to the Edit tab at the bottom, right click, and go into Import Media. And we want the desktop. That's where our test clip's at. And go Open. We can see that it imports, but it's gray and we can't scrub the video. Right? We're not getting any audio, any video. So now, how do we fix that? Let me show you. Okay, so from OBS, the export is in an H.264 format, and Resolve on Linux doesn't recognize that format. So what we've got to do is we've got to basically export the format that it's in into a format that Resolve on Linux can read. All right, so what we'll do is I've created a little test folder, put our test clip on it on the desktop. So I'm just going to right click, open in terminal. And let me copy and paste this code real quick. It does use FFmpeg. And I will paste it in. And let's make sure we've got it right. So home, Chris, desktop. Yep, and then we want the videos named different, and we're in a test folder. Test and then 4C blah blah blah. All right, so just make sure you get your file name right if you're following along. And then what this is going to do is it's going to create an output file of .mov. So let's go ahead and press enter. Oh, and I don't have FFmpeg, so let's go ahead and grab that. Sudo apt install FFmpeg. Okay, and that's the beauty of Linux Mint, right? It told me exactly what I needed to get and how to get it. from the terminal. So we'll go ahead and try this again. You can see it's spitting out the file now. There's output underscore file.mov. So if we switch back over to Resolve, go ahead and remove this out. This was our original test clip. Right click, import media again. Go into the test folder, and there's our MOV file. Change project frame rate, sure, go ahead and do that. And then when I try to scrub it this time, let's see what we get. And if we try to add it to the timeline, hit play. So as you can see, it's working now. All right, and if we want to take this script a little bit further, I'll just copy here and we'll paste a few times just to kind of mimic. We've got multiple MP4 files for a project, and then I'll delete out this MOV that we've already got. Let me copy this batch script that we've got to run and then paste it into the terminal. And then I just want to make sure that I get my file names correct at this point. And I will link this in the description. Let's see here. So basically, for any star dot, and I need to change that. We want MP4 files. Because our source is in MP4 format. Our converted format is MOV. So for each F in MP4 format, which we've got 4 clips here that are in MP4 format, I want you to do, and then basically the command that we've already ran, we're just sticking that into a for loop. So it does all the MP4s within that file, it converts them into an MOV. So let me go ahead and go down to the bottom and we'll run it. And let me change the view so it's easier to see. All right, so as you can see, it looped through all of our MP4 files and converted them, and it just added this underscore convert to the end of the file. So you keep your file name, and you can see MOV, convert.mov, that's your new one. All right, and now we'll go grab Steam. And since we're in Debian, just go to steampowered.com, and it's the little green install Steam button, and that'll give you the .deb. So then we'll pull up our downloads, double click that, install package, put in your password. Okay, we'll let it update while we go grab Proton. And just press enter on that terminal that pops up. There's just more packages that Steam requires. That's all this is. You just press enter again. Say yes to that. All right, and then as that's downloading, we'll just type in Proton up Qt. All right, it needs another enter on the Steam. Okay, now it's actually loading up and it'll download its updates. We'll just pull it to the bottom. All right, here's Proton up Qt. We want to get it. Okay, download Proton up Qt. This should be the app image. Yeah, it is. So we'll just go to our downloads, right click on it, properties, and make sure that it has permissions to execute. And we won't run that just yet. We want to get into Steam at least once. So we'll let it finish. And then once it's ready, I'll show you the rest of the process. Okay, so Steam finished. I'm just going to log in using my cell phone. All right, and that's really all we needed to do. So I'm just gonna right click on the system tray, exit Steam, and now we can launch our Proton Up Qt. So just click on add version. 8.27 is the latest and greatest, so let's click on install. All right, and that finished. So now we'll just go back into Steam. And if we go to Steam settings, compatibility, when we toggle on the enable Steam Play, you can see GE Proton 8.27. We'll just restart. And then when we go back into Steam, we'll be ready to play games. And that's going to do it for today's video. Here are some more videos you may find helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.